Spring is finally here, and I am so excited to share all these modern farmhouse spring DIYs with you all. For our first project, I'm going to be using this jug that I picked up from the thrift store, and I'm going to be using my new favorite paint mixture. I've got some craft paints along with some baking soda, and I'm just stirring it up and creating a pancake batter type consistency. Now I'm going to apply it to my surface, and you're going to need 2 to 3 coats. This paint mixture goes on slick surfaces really well. I've been really impressed with it, and I love the finish that it creates. Allow to dry well in between coats. This is what it looks like after 1 coat of our paint mixture. I am going in and applying another coat, and as you can see here, it is going on a lot thicker. That is okay. You can thin your paint out by adding some more craft paint, but I'm really liking how this is. This is the second coat all dry, and I'm going over this a third time. This time I am smoothing out some of the brush stroke. I did end up thinning out my paint a bit, and I'm really liking the texture. Now it's all nice and dry, and I'm going to add a little detail of twine around the neck. I'd like to take a moment and welcome you all to CreArtive by Nature, DIY and Decor. My name is Donna. If you're new, I want to say a big welcome, and I'd love for you to join my community by tapping on the subscribe button along with the bell to keep up to date with everything I have to share. Next, you'll need these spring greenery bouquets from Dollar Tree. They have them every year. You're also going to need some branches. I went out and foraged these on a nature walk. This is some branches that I picked up in the wintertime, and I allowed them to dry well. I love to add touches of nature within my decor, and branches are such an easy way to do that. So I'm mixing in the branches in with the greenery bouquet. Add as many branches as you'd like, and same with the touches of greenery. Here is our modern farmhouse DIY. I love how simple this is, but it definitely gives that punch of spring that I like. Today's video is part of the Spring is in the Air hop. It's hosted by Andrea Peacock along with her co-host Make It With Mia. I will have the links to their channels along with the next person you want to go see in the hop. We are having a $60 giveaway, and to enter you need to watch everyone's channel in the hop and leave a comment. All the rules are going to be listed in my description box as well. For our next DIY, you're going to need a 3.5-inch wood slice along with some tumbling blocks from Dollar Tree. You're going to need to glue 2 of the tumbling blocks together as shown, and you will need a total of 4 sets. Now I'm going to be using this rub-on transfer again from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to cut it out. It makes it way easier to apply. I'll be using a craft stick to apply to the wood surface. So remove the backing, put the transfer down on your wood surface, and then burnish with the craft stick. You'll want to continue to test to see if the image is transferring by gently lifting the edge of your plastic film. Just be careful and then remove it, and there you have the transfer. I'm going to use some matte varnish to protect the surface of my wood slice. I don't want this to wear off, and I find that this will really help to make this piece durable. Once you have the coat of varnish on, you can allow it to dry well. Next, I'm going to be needing a square dowel, and I'm going to just measure the width of my tumbling blocks, and then I'm going to cut that piece down. So here I have my little piece of dowel, and I am just going to make sure all my pieces fit together, and then using the hot glue gun, I am going to start to glue my pieces together as shown. You do need to work quickly when you're using the hot glue. You could use some wood glue as an alternative to the hot glue. Once you have all those wood pieces glued together, you can then add some hot glue to your stand and then place your wood slice on top. Remove any of the excess glue that may be showing. For the next part of this DIY, you're going to need a little pot. This is left over from one of those succulent pots that you can pick up from Dollar Tree. I'm going to give it a coat of this Artist Loft white gesso. I like to use gesso on plastic surfaces or anything that's got a slick surface. It really helps craft paint to adhere better and it doesn't flake off. Artist Loft is a brand put out by Michaels and I really like the consistency of it. Once dry, you can then add the craft paint color of your choice. I am going to be giving my little pot 2 coats of the craft paint and I'm going to allow it to dry well in between coats. An alternative would be to spray paint the pots as I have done here. If you choose to do that, allow the paint to cure well. My little pot is all nice and dry and now I'm going to go in and add some preserved reindeer moss. I'm just going to use some hot glue and apply that to the top of the foam and then press the moss into place. I'm just making sure that I don't cover the center because I'm going to be adding some stems to the middle of this piece. I'm going to use these faux eucalyptus stems that I picked up from Michaels. Use any greenery that you have on hand. I'm just going to cut them down and then add some hot glue and adhere them to our little pot. I find that eucalyptus adds a really modern touch to a piece. Now I'm going to be adding some spring meadow flowers. These are leftovers from a Dollar Tree spring pick, and I'm just going to tuck them in around the eucalyptus. Looks so cute, I love it. Now it's just time to add the 2 pieces together, and here you have another rustic, modern farmhouse spring DIY. For our next project, I'm going to be using this piece of wood that I picked up from the beach. I love to collect elements from the beach. There's so many different things that you can collect for DIYs. This stick is really cool because you can see that there's some beaver bite marks. I have used this branch in another tutorial and I just loved it so much I wanted to reuse it. So now using some cotton string, I am going to create a hanger. You could use jute twine, but I wanted the more modern look, so I'm going with the jute twine. And I also think the color of this branch is a really nice modern look. So now I'm going in and adding 3 lengths of the cotton twine to our branch. I'm just roughly spacing them out. Now using some faux spring florals from both Dollar Tree and Dollarama, I am going to cut them down and create some little bouquets. This could also be used with some fresh herbs. Use whatever you have on hand. Once you have your desired bouquet, then you can just wrap and intertwine the string around your bouquet and then tie it off in a knot. Trim off any of the excess string and then you can hang it on the wall. This was such a simple modern farmhouse piece and I absolutely love it. For our next DIY, you're going to need 2 6-inch square wood pieces. You can pick these up at Dollarama or Dollar Tree. I'm going to be using these wood stakes from Dollarama. You could also use some paint sticks. And I'm going to cut them down to size to be the same length as our squares. Now I'm just going to be using a metal ruler and an X-Acto knife and cutting through that and just snapping it off. I'm going to measure out another piece here. You'll need 2 pieces to form a base. I'm going to use some tacky glue along with a hot glue gun and glue these 2 pieces together. Working quickly, you can apply the 2 pieces together. This will create a nice firm base. I'm just going to make sure that I've got the right size, and also I need to make a little measurement so I can create my 2 side panels. So I'm just going to put a little pencil mark showing where my base ends, and then grabbing another one of my garden stakes, I'm just going to mark out where that pencil mark is, and then using my X-Acto knife along with my ruler and cutting those pieces out. You'll need a total of 2. Once you have all your pieces cut out, you can make sure that everything will fit together. And then using some tacky glue and your hot glue, again, work very quickly, apply the pieces all together. I start off by applying the base, and then I go in and add the side panels. So next I'm going to run a bead of hot glue on all those joints, and that'll help to hold everything together. And once those are all sealed up, you can then add your front panel. Again, using the tacky glue and the hot glue, I'm going to work very quickly and apply that front panel. I'm going to run a bead of hot glue on the inside as far as I can, and I'm going to smooth it out once it sits for a few seconds. So now I'm going to add this DecoArt Vintage Wash in the patina color. It is such a beautiful color. I'm going to use a soft brush and apply it to the wood, and then using a rag, I'm going to remove the excess. As you can see, the wood green still shows through, which I think is so cool. So I'm going to continue to add this stain, and I also apply it to the edges. Now the fun part is time to decorate. I'm going to be using these faux florals that I picked up from Dollarama. You can use any spring florals that you would like. And of course, as usual, I'm going to be adding in some branches. Now, I did not add any floral foam to this. I didn't want to bother, as I felt like it didn't need it, but if you want to, feel free to do so. So continue to add some branches and florals until you get this beautiful modern farmhouse floral decor piece for springtime. As always, I would absolutely love to know which piece was your favorite. I want to thank you all so much for being here today. Don't forget to link on the next person in the hop, as well as watch everyone's videos and comment below. I want to thank my fellow creators, Andrea, Mia, and again, thank you all. We'll see you in the next one. Bye!